Hey y'all, I'm like late, but that's okay. Y'all still love me anyway. What's good? Waiting on some more people to join. This episode is called 2020 Vision, and I'm ready. I hope y'all are. I had a late start, y'all. This might be a short episode, but that's fine. You know, it's the last one. Yeah, so I'm gonna wait a little bit. I'm gonna wait maybe like 2 more minutes. We're gonna get started. If you haven't already, get your beverage of choice. Mine is wine, but whatever you prefer is fine with me. So we'll be getting started in a little bit. If you're here, say hello so that I can say hello to you. Because I can't see on my screen who's all in the place and in the space. Hey, Camille. But yeah, this episode is going to be called 2020 Vision. And that could mean a lot of things. So, cheers to 2020. Even though she don't deserve it because she acted an ass. Okay? 2020 acted an ass for us. But yeah, we're about to get started. I'm just trying to make sure everything is set up for us on this end. But yeah. Hey y'all. Share the video if you're going to get you a drink and coming back. Share the video before you leave and then make your way back. Because your friends got to come and join too, right? I'm expecting this to be a pretty quick episode. If you're here, like it, share it, comment. Remember, this is our conversation, not mine. But I'm definitely going to go ahead and get started in a little bit, y'all. I'm running behind, but that's fine too. Okay? So share the video if you're here. We're going to get started in like 1 minute. 1 minute. We are getting started. Okay? Yeah. Cheers. Hey, Danny. Nice to see you back. We're about to get started in 1 minute. Hey, Alexis. Okay, so since this song ended, we can go ahead and get started. If you're here, make sure you share the video so that more people can join the conversation. If you haven't joined before, make sure you talk to me, right? I'm not here as an expert. Oh, I'm like, what is that noise? I'm not here as an expert. I am here to get advice also. I'm just a person that is starting the conversation. Hold on. There we go. I'm just a person that's starting the conversation, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and hit record. I'm going to do my little intro, thug thizzle, and then we just going to start rapping like that, okay? Y'all see this turtleneck? I'm trying to, like, make it do what it do. It's a little weird. Between my turtleneck and my earrings, I don't know what's going on. Okay, so I'm about to hit record, and then we're going to get right into the conversation. Hey, Markeem. Okay. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to Universal Teas. It's your girl, Toya, and this episode is called 2020 Vision. If you all are not my friends on Facebook, every time I record my podcast, I am not here by myself. I am always joined by my friends and family on Facebook, and we get it cracking. So if you want your voice to be heard, please make sure that you join me on Facebook Live every Tuesday at 5 p.m., 6 p.m., depending on where you are in the country, okay? So first, I just want to say my bad because I was late, and that's my business, okay? I was trying to get my wine poured up. I was trying to, my phone wasn't charged all the way. So pray for us, because y'all know last week we had a lot of technical difficulties, and that's fine. But yeah, I was getting my life. I had to put some lip gloss on so I look like somebody. I had to do, y'all see my little twist? I tried to get a little fancy, put a little twist in there. But this is the last chat that we're going to have of 2020, and I just want to say that I'm glad to see her go, okay? 2020 made me strong, but sis, I ain't asked for all that, okay? I ain't saying she beat my ass, but 2020 definitely had some hands, okay? So, hold on. Get yourself right if you're not right. The reason that I called this episode 2020 Vision is for a lot of reasons. So, of course, I want us to talk about what 2020 has been to the world, right? But before I even get into all of the craziness that 2020 brought us, I want to focus on the word vision. So for some reason, in the month of December, the word vision has been really like jumping out at me, right? So a lot of the things I've been watching, I've been reading, I've been seeing on TV and on the internet and on social media has been about vision, okay? And so I wanted to talk about vision because although we may not realize it, we all have a vision, right? And we may not realize it because we haven't acknowledged it. And so for me, when it comes to vision, I feel like there's a difference, right? So we sometimes confuse our vision with our goals or our vision with things that we're interested in. And through what I've been like learning and picking up from other people in other places, vision isn't necessarily your goal, right? It isn't necessarily the thing that you are most interested in. But vision is that thing that can't leave you alone, right? Now tell me if you all agree. It's that thing that is in you and you can't get rid of it. Like no matter how hard you try, like your vision is what you see for yourself. Like you can have visions throughout your life that are different. For example, a vision of mine is happiness, right? And although it's not like a concrete thing that I can sort of pick up and give to someone, it's something that is always on my mind. And I think with my vision, I had to figure out what it is that makes me happy, right? So when you have a vision for something, it's not one particular thing. It can be an aspect of something, but it's something that you can't get out of your mind. And for me, when I was sort of like reflecting and like talking to other people, talking to God or whoever you talk to, the spirits, the ancestors, whoever you get jiggy with, they'll tell you what your vision is and you can't get rid of it. So for me, my vision was speaking, right? I'm naturally like a laid back type of person, right? If you know me, like I'm not the loudest person in the room when I walk in. I'm not the person to just be extra and just be all over the place. But for me in particular, my vision told me like, open your mouth, sis. Like you have something to say. You know, I've been a person that's experienced things over and over again, and I've realized that I have a lot to say. So that's a part of me doing my podcast because my vision is something that I saw, right? Also, when we think of vision, I don't want you all to think that it has to do with money or something like that. But in my case, vision is literally the thing that you can see yourself as, right? If you can see something in your mind and if it's clear, right? I can see myself being a public speaker. I can see myself motivating people. I can see myself being an author. That is your vision, right? And so a lot of the times where I think, and you all can chime in if you agree or disagree, a lot of the times I think that our visions scare us, right? And that's what separates the dreamers from the doers, right? So I don't know if you all have heard that before, but you have people who dream and you have people who do, right? Your visions can come to you as dreams, but you have to be courageous enough to pursue them, okay? So if you can see it and it's clear, your next step is to figure out how to get there, right? Because that's God giving you the idea that you can do it. This is what I have for you, but now you have to figure out the steps to get there because God or the creator or whomever it is that you believe in doesn't give you vision aimlessly, right? It's for a reason. It's like, God, you think I could talk? You want me to talk to the people? Like, Danielle said, I'm trying to be a doer in 2020. Exactly, me too. And so it's like, God told me like, hold on, sis, you need to open your mouth. Right? I don't know if y'all parents ever told y'all this, but my mama used to always say, a closed mouth don't get fed. Y'all ever heard that? No? Just my mama? Okay. But yeah, so for me, my vision is to speak, right? It's to speak life into people because for the longest time, I've sort of been the person that just sat back and kind of observed everything. But my vision is to speak and to touch people. And it's like, well, I don't know who gonna listen to me, right? I'm just a little ghetto girl from the south side of Chicago, you know what I'm saying? And I don't really know who wants to hear me, right? But it keeps me up at night. It's like, no, you got something to say, so say it, right? You start a podcast because people listen to that. And I was like, a podcast? Jesus, you know this me you talking to, right? So we sort of psych ourselves out of our vision. Danielle said, I'm trying to be a doer in 2020. Camille said, write the vision and make it a plan. Good. So when we talk about vision, we have it, right? And we kind of have to bring our visions down from the dream world, if that makes sense. And Camille said to write it down and make it a plan. A lot of the times that people who have been listening to my podcast, you all know that when I give you all what I call heart work, you're writing things down, right? So what is it that you need to do to fulfill your vision? Because it's not going to go away, right? So don't ignore it. How do you lean into it? So besides writing, what are some of the things that you all do to sort of lean into your vision? I know for me, it's sort of figuring out every avenue that can get me there. So for me, I know speaking is my vision, you know, and it's like God is constantly telling me, girl, open your mouth. Like, you got something to say and people want to listen. And so from me just going out on a limb and was like, okay, I'm going to start a podcast. I don't know who's going to listen or what the response is going to be. But immediately, y'all, when I went into it and I forgot about fear and I forgot about everything that could go wrong, and I leaned into it and I started it, people responded like crazy. And so I've had people text me, message me, and they're telling me like, yeah, Toya, like, you motivated me to do this. You sound so natural. This is what you should be doing. And not that I ask people, you know what I'm saying? I'm not asking people for feedback, but they've given it to me. So leaning into your vision is something that you absolutely need to do. Write it down. Make it a plan. You know what I'm saying? Don't just let it be idle. Okay? And so that's the first point that I want you all to take away, is that vision is a lot different from just your interest. You can be interested in a lot of things, but recognizing your vision is when you start to fulfill yourself. It's when you start to exude happiness, right? A lot of us say, oh, I want to be happy. I just don't want to feel bad anymore. I don't want to be stressed out. And a lot of the times we're not happy because we haven't found our vision. We haven't leaned into what God is constantly telling us to do, right? It's like you're trying to suppress it, or you're putting off your vision to sort of make other people comfortable. But at the end of the day, trust me when I tell you, trust me, listen, because I've been dealing with it myself. Once you start to lean into who you really are, people gonna leave. Things may not work out, but you have to remain focused on your vision. Hold on. Right? So what are some things, if you all are on here, first of all, make sure you share the video. But if you're on here, what are some things that you see or something that keeps you up at night, or something that you know that you want to do, but you're too afraid of? And also, visions are scary, right? When we get presented with our vision, it's usually a big thing, right? And it's like, I don't know if I can do that. But that's the thing that you need to go after the most, okay? When you're pursuing your vision, you're also going to be faced with distractions. Okay? But when you are faced with distractions or hardships or struggles, or when people tell you no, those things are meant to be there, right? Particularly, this makes me reflect. I had a conversation with some friends back in, December. I want to say this was maybe in like August, right? And me and my friends were having a conversation and we got pretty deep, right? And we were going around the room and the question was, what is the most difficult thing that you've experienced in 2020? And so my heart started beating fast, y'all, because I'm like, I ain't trying to tell my business. But when people got around to me, I just simply said that I'm still going through it. I'm still experiencing it, right? And then the follow-up question to that was, well, how did you make it out? Or how do you feel like you're going to make it out? And so for me, my answer was, because I know that God isn't going to leave us like this. You know what I'm saying? I know that bad times don't last forever. So I had to stay focused on the vision. So no matter how difficult things got, I still stayed focused on my vision. No matter how sad I got, no matter how discouraged I got, I still had the vision that this is not going to end in tragedy, right? Nothing ends that way. Life is about cycles. So when we talk about vision, you're talking about cycles. You're talking about being focused on what's to come, right? Nothing lasts forever, not even hard times, okay? And so that's when you have to really train your mind to be focused on what it is that you are really destined to do, right? So what's next? So 2020 has been quite the year. I don't know about y'all, But 2020 has definitely been a challenge. Like, it started off well. I feel like January, February were pretty decent. Tell me if I'm wrong. Let me know if y'all disagree. But I feel like 2020, above anything, challenged us to see ourselves. Personally, I've gone through a lot of like mental, emotional challenges this year, things that I never really imagined. But as a whole, I feel like 2020 kind of told us to sit our ass down, right? Whether we wanted to or not. 2020 told us to sit our ass down and look at yourself and figure out what it is that you have to do. So first of all, coronavirus has like shifted the whole paradigm of like the world. Like, not just you, not just your family, but it sort of shifted everything, especially how we interact, right? It's tested how we interact with the people that we love and how we keep connection strong. And so I feel like in 2020, when coronavirus started, I don't know about y'all, but me and my friends, specifically like my teacher friends, we were kind of chilling. Like, we were like, yeah, coronavirus, we get to get off work. No school, we chilling. And then when we started to see like the casualties that it was causing, the hospitalization, things like that, we sort of realized that shit is getting real. When people started to lose loved ones, I didn't think coronavirus was real until I knew people personally who had family members, or I knew people personally who caught it. And I'm so fortunate because God, listen, nobody in my family has caught it, but I will say that it sort of brought us together also, because we're all in the same struggle, if that makes sense. From regular working people, 9 to 5, to celebrities, we're all affected by coronavirus and the things that it had us to adjust to. But it also showed us resilience. And this is the type of resilience that we didn't even know we had. And that just goes to show us that we are, you know what I'm saying, we can get through anything, right? Nothing can stop us. And so that's something that I want us to continue to push for and continue to be and continue to believe in, you know what I'm saying? And so coronavirus also changed school, right? So not only did students have to adjust, but teachers had to adjust also. And we're going back at the end of January, and I ain't gonna say I'm excited about it, because I'm not. Coronavirus is still here, but it's just an adjustment. And even when we do go back to what is normal, you know, back in school in person, there's still different precautions and there's still different things that we have to consider when we are there, right? What else has coronavirus taught us? Travel. We can't see our family members as much as we would like to. We can't go out to public places without thinking about things. The fact that masks have become a fashion statement for us is even more crazy. But yeah, it's been difficult, to say the least. What are some of the things that you all have noticed? Oh, another thing that 2020 has taken from us is so many significant celebrities, right? I still feel like 2020 from, I think the first celebrity that was really hit us hard was Kobe Bryant. Like, when that happened, I feel like the whole world kind of stopped breathing a little bit. Like, when Kobe passed away, and we had, who else? Chadwick Boseman was a big one. Who else passed away in 2020? Debo. Is it, okay, don't let me say his name wrong, y'all. Alex Trebek is the TV game host guy. That was one that was crazy. The Supreme Court Justice who passed away, John Lewis. And so I think if 2020 has taught us anything, it's that life is valuable. And you never know when your last time or speaking to someone is going to be. You never know when the last time you're going to see someone. So move in purpose. And this episode is called 2020 Vision. And if you haven't learned anything from the passing of these significant figures, it's that you should focus on your vision, right? These are people, specifically, I was really inspired by Chadwick Boseman, because if there is anybody who lived up to their vision and lived up to their purpose, it was him, right? He was battling cancer and none of us knew, right? But he realized his vision and he leaned into it and he lived his life to the fullest. Even Kobe Bryant, like, he did his thing, right? He left his mark and he leaned into his vision. So that just goes to show, and that motivated me to know that you need to go up and do the same thing. Like, what if you leave here and you never left your mark, right? What if you leave here and you just kept ignoring what your vision is and what your purpose is? Those are the things that we need to lean into, right? Because you never know when your last time here is going to be. And a lot of those celebrities that passed away, it wasn't even from coronavirus, right? So although we're in this global pandemic, that's not the only thing that's affecting us. That's not the only thing that can take us out. Oh, y'all know who I forgot to mention that passed away? R.I.P. my bae, King Von. If y'all don't know, yeah, I love King Von. I just discovered that I loved him after he passed away, though. But no, seriously though, we have to lean into our vision and lean into our passion. No matter what distractions come, you can be sad, hurt, heartbroken. Somebody can tell you that they don't love you anymore, but you still have to focus on your vision, and that is the thing that is going to get you back on track. This year has been very trying for me personally, and honestly, the only way that I can say that I've been able to persevere is, one, focusing on my vision and knowing that the thing that I've been called to do can still happen, regardless of what's happened before, what's happened prior to. I have to realize that my vision is what's going to keep me there. I have to win, right? I'm not going to stop. And I think it was Steve Harvey who said, if you're going through hell, you should keep going, because why would you stop in hell? Right? If you're going through a difficult time, why stop in the middle of a struggle? Why stop in the middle of being heartbroken or confused or losing someone or sad? Why stop in the midst of a struggle when you know, or you've seen time and time again, that nothing lasts forever? It may be heavy, it may be hard, it may be difficult, but nothing lasts forever, right? So focusing on your vision is literally, and take this advice and run with it from now until whenever you get distracted or you have something difficult, focusing on your vision and knowing that you can get it is what's going to get you there, right? I know for a fact that I can influence people. I know for a fact that I'm a great writer. I know for a fact that I'm a great person, a great friend, a great sister, a great family member. So knowing that I have something greater for me, knowing that I have something inside of me that is going to affect other people is what keeps me pushing. Yeah, I might cry. Yeah, I might be sad. Yeah, I might have to distance myself for a while. But at the end of the day, I'm absolutely certain that I'm going to win. However long it takes. It could take me a year, 5 years from now, maybe even 10 years. But focusing on your vision and your goal and your success and your happiness is what's going to get you there, okay? So take it from someone who knows. If you are here, make sure you share the video. If you are here, please talk to me and let me know how 2020 has been going for you. So for the whole country, the whole world, America in particular, another thing that 2020 has done is I feel like because we're so stationary in 2020, there's been like a veil lifted off of the country. Now we know, although this is called the land of the free, there are plenty of stipulations to that, right? And another big point that I wanted to point out that 2020 has given us is the racial injustice, right? We've had plenty of protests. We know about Breonna Taylor. We know about George Floyd and the hundreds, maybe thousands of other African Americans who have been targeted by police brutality. But I feel like this year in particular, it was really moving versus years prior because we're so stationary. And I feel like it's been forcing not only us, but when I say us, I mean African Americans, but I mean people in outside races to sort of see where they fall into the spectrum of racial injustice, because we all play a part, whether we're personally affected or whether we're enabling. And I feel like a lot of people who have been a part of it, or who are realizing that just because you're not African American doesn't mean that you don't have a voice. I feel like those ally voices are something that have to be just as loud as ours, because at the end of the day, if they're just hearing black voices fighting against racial injustice, then we're just loud black people. But I really have noticed a a lot more ally voices, a lot more voices that are not just people of color, but white people as well. And I feel like that's something that also we have to focus on as a country. Is it has to get better, right? It can't end here, and this can't be the end of it, because if we look back on prior civil rights leaders and people who have fought against racial injustice, you'll notice that we've come a lot further than them, right? It's not an easy process, and it's not something that comes overnight, but that has to be the vision for us as a country, as a nation. We have to get past those hurdles, and we have been, but we have to be persistent in them, right? And so when we are talking about 2020 vision, I feel like 2020 has sort of, I don't want to say it started a new vision, but I feel like because we're so stationary, it sort of ignited a light that we can't ignore, right? And to add on to that, we had our real sketchy presidential election, right? So our president-elect is a black woman who went to a HBCU. Yeah, I said that right. I thought I messed it up. HBCU. Right. Shout out to the HBCUs of the world. And so even with the recounting of votes and things like that, I feel like our vision was clear in this election. Our vision was what's right for all Americans and the image that we want to portray. And because we focused in on that vision, we got the results that we wanted. We got the results, that's going to give our nation a little bit more comfort. I don't know about y'all, but when I heard the election results, I kind of had a sigh of relief. And not to say that Joe Biden in particular is going to be like the savior for black people, because I've been seeing a lot of controversy with that too. Like, oh, y'all acting like things are just going to go back to normal because Biden's president and he don't really like black people. Listen, sugar, listen, let me tell you. I'd rather have Biden than Trump. And I'm just proud to be a black woman with a VP who looks like me, who's shared experiences that I have. And so it's sort of like, yes, we've always been choosing the greater of two evils, but I feel like in this instance, we just have to realize that we can breathe a little bit, right? Danielle says, hold on, let me look from my computer because I'm not about to try to look at that. 2020 forced us to really have 2020 vision. People are finally seeing things for what they really are, both in the nation and in their personal lives. Exactly. And that's why I wanted to call this episode 2020 vision, because not only am I talking about the year 2020, but we've been forced to see the country without a veil, right? We've been forced to see ourselves without a veil because we're alone, because we're isolated, because we're on lockdown, quote unquote. You have to look at yourself with a clear eye view. So we have a 2020 vision of 2020. And in our personal lives and in the nation and in the world, not even just the nation, Danielle, but in the world, we've been sort of forced to see ourselves, to see what it is that we are and what it is that we are not. I know personally, I've definitely become very clear on what it is that I like, what it is that I don't like, what it is that I tolerate, what it is that I won't tolerate. I've become, I feel like, stronger. This year has really taught me to be stronger, and it's forced me to focus on the good, right? Because there's been so much negative. And in this year, I feel like it's been really easy to sit in that. And for a long time, I allowed myself to. I don't know about y'all. Maybe this year was good for y'all. But for me, I've had to literally find the positive, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here right now, right? If I didn't force myself to see the positive, or if I didn't focus on my vision, if I didn't focus on the things that could progress me, I would probably be in the closest mental institution right now, because this year has just been trying. It's been trying, but literally, when I tell y'all the thing that has gotten me to this point, and I'm not great, I'm not perfect, I'm not where I want to be, but focusing on my vision, you know what I'm saying? Focusing on this platform, using this podcast, using my friends, leaning on my family. Those are the things that have sort of gotten me there, right? And it's been uncomfortable. This year has been the most uncomfortable year of my life. Like, I've been stretched out of my comfort zone so much, but focusing on what it is that I see for myself has gotten me there. So I know that this has been a difficult year. If you're here, share the video. What are some things that you have had to realize about yourself, or anything that you've realized about the year in general, 2020. What are some of the things that you all have had to realize? If you haven't already, pull up, because y'all behind. How has 2020 stretched you? How has 2020 stretched you? So while you all are talking about that, I also want to get into what else didn't I cover? I talked about COVID. Oh, something that has been brought to the forefront in 2020 that I think is really helpful and I think is really important is mental health. I've been seeing a lot of memes. I've been seeing a lot of posts. I've been seeing a lot of videos. I've watched a lot of videos that talk about mental health, particularly mental health in the Black community, because I think it is something that we brush under the rug, right? I feel like they try to make it that Black people can't have a mental health issue, right? If you're able to get up and do your job and talk to your friends and be around your family, like, they sort of brush mental health to the side. But I feel like mental health is something that's come up in 2020. And I think it's really important as a person myself who's dealt with anxiety, who's dealt with depression. And when I tell people that, they're looking at me like, you really? And I'm like, yeah. So I think that our mental health is something that we've had to sit with, right? And I've noticed a lot of patterns. Like, I've gone to therapy myself. I don't know about you, but 2020 has definitely put me there. And you start to notice patterns. And we talk about generational curses. And I don't really like to call them curses because I think that's kind of a heavy term. But I will call them like generational patterns or unhealthy patterns from our families. And I think that this year has forced me to recognize some things that have happened, or some things that my family sort of do that I don't really get jiggy with. And for the longest time as a kid, I would sort of notice things, and it's like, you can't say nothing because you're a kid. But I feel like I've sort of gotten to a place now where it's like, I noticed that you do this, or I noticed that this is a trend in the family, or this is a trend in the Black community in general, and I don't really like that. Right? So having 2020 vision and seeing things clearly is you recognizing things that you're not into, regardless of if it was passed down or influenced by family members or community members. Realizing who you are and pushing that, it takes a lot of courage, right? Because a lot of the times, especially in Black families, you get seen as being like the black sheep, or you're too this, or you're too bougie, and we get judged by our own people, and it's hard, right? But I feel like we've had no choice but to lean into those things this year. And to push ourselves to be exactly who we are. And trust me when I tell you, being exactly who you are when it's different from what you're accustomed to is scary. But it's worth it, and it brings you peace, and it brings you comfort. And that goes back into talking about vision. Like, I see myself as being happy. And so at first, trying to figure out what made me happy was sort of like, I want to make myself happy, but I don't want to offend anybody, right? Yeah, I want to make myself happy and do what's best for me, but I don't really want this person or this group of people to have a different opinion of me, or these people are used to seeing me in this light, but I don't really want to press that. You got to get to a point where you're like, man, fuck them people. I'm going to do what it is that I got to do. And I say fuck them people in the most respectable manner that I can, right? I'm not saying fuck you as a person, but your opinion got to go because it doesn't align with my vision. It doesn't align with who I'm trying to be, right? So when you have 2020 vision, you have to focus. I feel like a part of having 2020 vision and focusing on your goals and what it is, seeing you as your best self, it also requires you to have tunnel vision, right? And so when I talk about tunnel vision, I'm saying like you see this goal, right? You have your vision of who you are at your best, and whatever it takes to get there, that's what you do. If something comes in the way of you doing what you need to do to get to where you got to go, you got to push it to the side, right? And I've had to teach myself that the hard way. Like, some of the hardest things, or one of the hardest things that I've had to do this year is sort of like let go of people who just don't align with my vision, no matter how much I want them, no matter how much I feel like I know that I'm great for someone, or how great of an opportunity something is for me. But if it doesn't align with where I'm going and what I want, you gotta go. I'm sorry. You gotta go. You gotta go. And it's hard because it's at the same time I'm a person who cares, right? And I want to be the best for everybody. But when I had to realize that when being the best for everybody takes away from who I am and what I want, I can't rock like that. Danielle says, God has been stretching my faith this year. I'm a very pen and paper type of girl, and I like to plan every detail. So if I can't see or understand the plan, I get discouraged, thinking whatever it is won't come to pass. But God has been teaching me this year that at the end of the day, it's not by my might, and that whatever I accomplish is and will be the strength of Him. Amen. Hallelujah. Listen, in this year, I can definitely say that I've leaned into God and religion a lot more. And for a long time, a lot of the things that people have said have been really vague. And when you put I get discouraged thinking whatever it is won't come to pass, I really sat in that. And a lot of people have brought it to my own attention that it's like, Toya, you're sad, but you're sitting in your sadness. You're sitting in your discomfort. And I sort of had to like reflect on what that actually meant, because now I feel like I'm in a space where it's like, okay, this shit is uncomfortable, but I can't stay here. So you sort of have to order your steps and figure out what it is that you need to do to get out of it. And don't stop, right? Because the discomfort isn't going to go away right away. You're going to be You're going to be uncomfortable, not discomfortable. Come on, y'all. Somebody help me. You're going to be uncomfortable for a while, but focusing on your vision, or focusing on God, or focusing on what's to come that is going to be positive is going to push you through. Okay? And so that is that where I want to leave y'all? No. So if you are new to Universal Teas, there is always a part of my podcast that I call Plugged In, okay? And Plugged In is where I shout out a person, a group of people, an organization, a musician, whatever you do and you do it well, I plug you in. But by this being the last episode of 2020, I decided to do Plugged In a little bit differently. Instead of plugging in a person, organization, or a talent, I simply want to plug in everybody, right? Because this year has been crazy as shit to all of us. And just the fact that we've made it to December of 2020 is admirable. Right? Just because we've made it through all the craziness. We may have lost loved ones. You may have lost your favorite celebrity. You may have been heartbroken. You may have lost a family member. But you made it through this year. And I just want you to know that I am proud of you. And I am proud of myself because this year has been crazy. So, shout out to you for making it to the end of the year. I hope that y'all have some really good New Year's Eve plans. I don't. I'm gonna be at home chilling, but that's fine because guess what? Coronavirus, she's still real. I don't know if y'all getting the vaccine, but no, y'all know about the Tuskegee experiment. Y'all ain't about to get my black ass with no vaccine. But with that being said, I hope y'all have a great New Year. I will see you all next Tuesday right here on Facebook Live. I'm gonna go ahead and close us out. So, thank you all for joining me. It's your girl, Toya. This has been 2020 Vision, the second episode and the last episode of 2020 on Universal Teas, the People's Podcast. See y'all next week. Bye. So, yeah. We done, y'all. It's lit. I told y'all it was going to be a short episode because my phone wasn't fully charged. So, I didn't want my phone to die. But, yeah. Share the video still so that whoever missed it can watch it back. And I will see y'all next Tuesday. Peace.